welcome into Montgomery and Company. I'm Renee Montgomery. And so listen, I'm talking players, I'm talking coaches, I'm talking all of it when it comes to tennis, golf, basketball. Coco Golf right now is killing it at the US Open, but there's some conversation around, is her coach getting too much credit? I'm going to get into that myself a little bit later. And then we also, speaking of coaches, we have the coaches of our ATL Hype Squad, which is our dance team for the Atlanta Dream. Star-studded coaches. You're going to find out all about them coming up next. We got Cici Kelley, Victor Jackson, Keith Wilder Jr. Yes, that name sounds familiar if you're wondering. And then the crew and I get into hip-hop, all 50 years of it. Let's go! All right, so y'all know with me, the WNBA is pretty much my world, basketball, all of that. But there's also tennis going on. There's other sports than basketball. Shocker, I know. Yes. Okay, but tennis. We have the US Open going on. And I just want to talk about Coco because there was a lot of different things going on with Coco Golf. And she is the young star that has been, you know what they say, kicking butt and taking names. I'm going to just say it like that. So I want to talk about Coco because I love what she's doing. And also I see what's going on. So let's start out with Coco Golf. Tell me if you've heard this before. A tennis player feels like they aren't being treated fairly, and that tennis player just so happens to be a Black woman. Now, the only reason I say that is because we know it's been just written about, it's been talked about, it has been noted, all the struggles that the Williams sisters, Serena and Venus, went through when it came to tennis. We know tennis is a certain kind of sport. So now we have the young phenom Coco coming up, and we saw she got into a little argument. I don't know, do they call them refs? It might be umpires in tennis, but she got into an argument. And basically the argument was that she was playing against a player that was older than her. And the player that's older than her kept on taking breaks. Now that might seem like not a big deal, but for somebody, if your advantage is the fact that you're younger and that you can play fast and strong and quick, and then you're playing against an opponent that keeps on slowing down the game, it's not illegal, is what I've heard and read in the things. It's not illegal, but they say it's not good sportsmanship. So knowing that everybody kind of understands that this is not necessarily good sportsmanship, Coco goes to the referee and basically is like, girl, I'm tired. I'm tired of it. Do better. So that's one. And this is in the same, all in the same thing. And speaking of, these players, when she basically goes to the ref, these tennis players, I know they tired because tennis players will finish a match or start a match at 11 and then have another match the next day starting at 1 p.m. They may finish their singles match on today and then tomorrow have a doubles match. You know, Coco was talking about that. There's players, you know, with tennis talking about the scheduling is tough and all these different things are brutal. So I'm always saying keep that in mind because they are outside in the elements. That's another thing. When I talk about basketball as our sport, I've been in hot gyms, you know, AAU days. I've been in all of the just harshest environments, but that's not a normal environment per se. You know, now when I play or you go to a pro game, you're not going to expect whatever outside temperature to determine the game. It's supposed to be cold in there. It's supposed to be nice temp controlled. So these players are out there. I only say that because it's hot where they're playing, 90 plus degrees. They're playing every day, long hours, body's tired. And Coco is just handling herself, baby. I mean, look at her press conferences. You guys got to check her out. Look at her press conferences and all the media surrounding her. So there's a tweet from John Wortham that says, the email from a well-regarded tennis voice, and I'm basically going to paraphrase here, guys, but he's basically saying that after Coco's wins, there's been a lot of credit given to her coach, Brad Gilbert. And her coach is a very well-known coach. Her coach is a very well-respected coach, all the things. But some people are saying that they're giving her coach a little too much credit, that Coco's on the court doing her thing. And then some people are saying rightfully so, because, you know, she's won a couple tournaments with him. She's reached the semis, which she's never done before. So there's this large conversation. And I wanted to talk about that. Coaches and players and that relationship, because we're seeing it now where there's some coaches that are coaching in football where a lot of people are saying that they're struggling because they don't have the necessary, like, talent. They had a generational quarterback, and now that they don't have a generational quarterback anymore, they can't even figure out how to win. But a lot of times people say that a good coach, you're not going to win a championship, but you are going to figure out a way to win some games. And I'll even give you an example of Like just a right now example for WBA people, look at what the Minnesota Lynx did. They started the season out 0-6. A lot of people considered them almost seeing if they were going to tank, not knowing what was going to happen. And then with that same group that people thought was a tankable group, they've secured a playoff spot. They're probably going to be the number 5 team, number 6 team in the playoffs. That's not just coaching, that's players as well, but you can clearly see that there is some good coaching going on there. That's okay. But at the same time, Nafisha Collier, who is a player that plays for the Minnesota Lynx, she is having a all first team type of year. Like she's an all-star, of course, but I'm saying she's having that type of year. The reason I use those two parallels is because while we're talking about Fee, yeah, we don't need to mention Coach Reed, because them buckets that Fee is getting and all this and that's all well and good. But I also understand that tennis is not a team sport. So when we're talking about the Minnesota Lynx, of course, I'm going to mention led by head coach, Coach Reeve, and all of this and that. So I do feel like tennis has a different dynamic. So I'm just going to wrap it up by saying that I understand and love the fact that, first of all, Coco is 19, you guys. I forgot to mention that. She is 19 years old on one of the biggest stages at the U.S. Open, playing almost daily and doing well. So first of all, shouts to her. But when it comes to players and the media and players and coaches and all this in the media, because again, I'm on a tangent, y'all. This is like I'm giving y'all all my full thoughts, because I don't know if people, well, I know people have probably seen that Russell Wilson's coach pretty much told him like, yo, listen, you want to salvage your career, you need to stop worrying about Russell Inc. and worry about this team right here. You need to stop trying to be the man of the people and worry about the people and the things of football. And it's so interesting because the relationship between a coach and a player, there's so many different dynamics. For instance, this is an outspoken coach speaking out against his quarterback. He like, I don't care. Some coaches would never do that. But coaches matter, players matter. And in the game of sports, look, I'm always going to have a player's perspective, but I always have respect for the coaches that I play for. I play for some legendary coaches, Coach Ariema. I played for Coach Cheryl Reeve. Like, these are great coaches that will probably end up in the Hall of Fame, because if they don't, what are y'all doing? I played for Hall of Fame coaches, and so I do give them credit. But I also know that you wasn't with me shooting in the gym, okay? So I know I put in that work. So I think that there's just a balance that you have to find as media, as a player, and as a coach of, like, what's you, what's them, and what's us. And I think that you need all of those. You can't be successful if a player isn't putting in that work. You can't be successful if you don't have a good coach that knows their stuff. And you can't be successful if those two don't work together. So I think, long story short, Coco needs her coach the way that her coach needs Coco. And I think they're doing well together. And speaking of coaches and player relationships, the choreographer is basically the coach of a dancer. And so with the Atlanta Dream, we wanted to revamp our whole ATL hype squad. So we went out and we got all new choreographers. And these people are not just any choreographers. They all have a story. They all have been there, done that, danced with probably your favorite artist, but I'm gonna let you hear it from them. And we're gonna start with the lady in the group, Miss Cici Kelley. Okay, Cici, better CCV. Let's go. Let's go. So Cici Kelley, what are you doing with the Dream this year?
Yes, I'm so excited to join the choreography team for the Atlanta Dream. And we've already had a few rehearsals and they are so amazing. It's going to be a beautiful show and an awesome season.
I love that. And so tell me a little bit, because you've worked with some names, okay? Because I want people to know, like, everything that we're trying to do with the Dream, we're trying to elevate, not just on the court, but we're elevating all around the game, off the court. You're a part of that. So what's your past? I want people to know what we just did. Like, who is Cici Kelley?
Well, I'm from Atlanta.
Come on.
So that's the first thing. Always get that right. I'm from Atlanta. Southwest Atlanta made. I love it. I love it. So being a part of this team is like really, really exciting. Bringing it all home. But I've had the wonderful opportunity to dance for Beyonce, choreograph for Toni Braxton, all over the world. And it's been a wonderful, wonderful career. And now I'm able to bring that back to aspiring artists as a professor at Spelman College. So it's just awesome. And then to be able to do amazing opportunities like this is just really exciting.
I love
really
that.
Really exciting.
LeBron left Cleveland, went to Miami to learn how to win at the highest level. You've seen working with Beyonce at the highest level. So like, what things did you take from experiences like that?
For sure. Work ethic. Work ethic is extremely important. Knowing how to pace yourself when you have your off time versus your on time when you're on that stage. Taking care of your body, super, super important.
You sound like an athlete. Like, what's up, man? It sounds like some
dancers are athletes. Yes. But you know, the mental and the physical aspect, really, really taking care of this vessel, because this is what's making our livelihood. Networking, having great energy, and you know, surrounding yourself with people that you aspire to be like. Really, really important. And I learned a lot of that working with all of these wonderful artists and really keeping your integrity, you know, a number one priority. So it's just been awesome. So to bring that back and work with these youth, and then of course work with the team, it's just
you doing some things, Cici. Dancers are athletes too.
Yes.
I appreciate you, man. Welcome to the dream, and thank you for joining me.
Thank you.
Coming up after the break, we have Victor Jackson, who I'm telling you guys, when he was in his interview, we asked him why did he think that he should be the choreographer or be a part of the Dream family. And he basically, his answer was crazy. He was like, I just feel like it's my time. I just feel like it's the right time. I've been leading up to this moment and it's brought me here. It was inspirational. Long story short, he got the job. It's Victor Jackson. All right, so we're all set. We got Victor Jackson in the building. And so listen, you guys know we're all about elevating. You're a part of our elevation of the dream, Victor, because you're coming on as one of our choreographers. And I like for people, this is where I'm gonna like flex on them. Don't even be shy, because I want people to know what kind of level of talent we're getting. So Victor, tell us a little bit about Victor.
Well, I've been working in entertainment for 20 years now. I'm the founder and creative director of Glam Rock Soul Entertainment Group. It's a boutique creative services firm, and we are happy to be partnering with the Atlanta Dream this season, to be working with you all. Doing choreography. I've been doing this for 20 years now.
And who you been doing? I'm just
let's say, we could say Candy Birds, we can say Lil Wayne, we can say August Alsina, Iggy Azalea. The fancy video, have you seen the fancy video? I might have choreographed that. You know, taught in New Zealand, taught in Germany, taught across the country, and happy to be bringing my talents here back home. My parents live 7 minutes away. So like, I'm in the hood. I'm ready.
This is what I love. And so, I mean, you've been all over the world. It's kind of interesting because athletes, we do the same thing. I played overseas for 10 years. Like, what kind of differences do you know, like culturally in dance, like that are different overseas maybe as opposed to here?
Well, you know, a lot of times in, say, New Zealand, for instance, you have like the Maori culture, you have this like very traditional dance, and they use that to infuse it into more contemporary moments. So like us, we've been, you know, hitting the yeet, been like doing, you know, bankhead bounce. So it's like, it's really cool because we still, as, you know, Black Americans in the South, find ways to bring our culture into the movement. So I love it because when I go to London, when I'm in Berlin, they're like, oh, you're from Atlanta. Oh, like y'all are cool. Like this is, you know, so it's always an equal exchange of ideas and creativity.
I love that. And so, like, I'm curious, and you can be as transparent as possible. Like, what does the, I would say, dance world even think about women's sports? Like, you know how we're trying to bring more eyes and stuff. I feel like, what were your thoughts before you started with the Dream? Did you know about us? What did you think about us?
I knew. I knew because I used to go to the games when Shamia was like announcing and doing all these things. And I've always supported the Dream. I've always supported the idea of equity in all things for all people. And so I think what the Atlanta Dream has an opportunity to do, and what you've done since you've been here in this city, is make dreams come true.
I've seen, I mean, it's the,
and I wouldn't be saying it if it was a lie. Like, I've had friends who are, you know, artists coming up who've been able to sing the anthem or like perform or just be able to come to the game and feel special, feel a part of a family. And I think that's what the Atlanta Dream does. And it sets a stage for everybody to see how powerful equity is on the court, off the court, and in our everyday lives. Like, seriously.
I love that. It's crazy. And so I'm curious, like, okay, now you got a hold of the dance team. We're telling you to elevate. You're basically a coach now.
Yeah.
Okay, so you the coach of our, like, you know what I'm saying? Vera's the GM. We got 3 coaches, okay?
Yes.
What's your philosophies? Like, how are you going to get us into shape? Because, okay, like, I know in sports, I'm going to be like, listen, I'm going to drill the fundamentals. I'm going to make sure. But, like, in dancing, like, how are you going to ensure that we have elevated the dream?
Yeah, my practice, I use something that I call the creative equation. Identity plus inspiration equals innovation. So I'll be tapping into the dancers, getting to know them, getting to know where they're from. Like, are you from the house scene? Are you from Chicago? Are you from LA? And how we can bring that identity into the inspiration, and that will bring the innovation. That is the elevation that you are asking for.
You sound like you flowing a little bit. The innovation of the elevation and
because that's it. I feel like we've been doing this. You've been seeing people dance on courts for years.
Right. How do we elevate from that?
Yes. And what we do here is make dreams come true. And so I want to really get to know those dancers and know, like, when you were in your bedroom at 8 years old, what inspired you?
Got you.
And I want to bring that to the court and put it into the routines that we're doing.
Got you. So I'm going to end with one thing, because I want to get your thoughts. When you were interviewing for this job, I was on the call. As you know, I was listening in. And you said something interesting. They said, why do you want to work here? And you was like, I feel like this is where I'm supposed to be. I feel like this is the right time. I feel like this is the right team. This is the right situation.
For sure.
That's a really crazy thing to say on an interview that you ended up getting off. But, like, you know, like, I mean, I just distinctly remember you saying that, like, like, when somebody asks you, why should you, you know, want to work for the dream? So what made you feel like everything was aligning, that this was the situation to align with?
2 weeks prior,
Of course.
2 weeks prior, my dad DM'd me a video of a dance team for an NBA team. And he was like, you need to be doing this. Like, this is what you should be doing. And just the evolution of me and my father's relationship around dance specifically. Like I said, I grew up here. My sisters used to take dance at College Park Rec, and I used to sit outside because I wasn't allowed to.
Oh, because you're a boy.
Because I'm a boy. Right. Yeah, and so when I talk about equity, and I talk about equity on the court and in the world, it's really important because I feel like it goes both ways. And so when I got the email from Dan to interview, 2 weeks after my dad had sent me that video, I was like, oh, this is in flow. And for you all to be in my hometown, next week will be my 20-year from graduating from Tri-Cities High School, right around the corner. So you know what I mean? I feel like this moment is me kind of coming back home. And I just live, like, right up the highway.
It's so crazy.
It's me coming back home, and my nephew was just born at the top of April. So it gives me also an opportunity to create a new legacy in my city. So I'm excited.
That's crazy. Well, welcome home. Welcome to Atlanta. Welcome to the Dream, man.
Yes.
And thank you, Victor, for joining us
Thank
here
you for
at Montgomery Co.
Oh, yes.
Dope. Listen, I told y'all it was popping. And now, to finish out our whole choreography team, we have, and listen, I'm telling you, we came out swinging with the Atlanta Dream. We have Keith Wilder Jr., and you may know his daddy and his uncle from the group Heat Wave. Yes, him. Well, he can sing a little bit too, but right here, he's leading our group, our ATL Hype Squad. It's my guy, Keith Wilder Jr. So wait, we're going to get all into it, okay? Keith Wilder, the junior. Okay, not the second. It's
junior, just junior.
Just junior. Yeah. Okay, so clearly you come from a life of entertainment.
Yeah, man.
Like, so what is that like, touring that young? Like, what?
It's very fun. There was no stress about performing or dancing. It was like, work with dad. So if he's on stage, one song, it was always Groove Line. That was my song. It got to the part, he would look on the side of the stage and be like, all right, come on now. And I would just go on freestyle, go right back off stage.
That's crazy.
Yeah. So since 2 years old till about 16, when I started pursuing music, then I opened up for Heatwave, and that was even bigger.
Sir. Okay, so we gonna get when you was going out there, you was cutting the rug, right? You was dancing when it first started, but then you started to open and sing,
music,
or what?
Yeah, I was singing. Tried to rap, but rapping wasn't my thing.
But wasn't your thing?
Listen,
how did you find out that it wasn't your thing?
When you start letting people hear it, and they're like, hey, you got some vocals, but this rap thing.
Yeah, everybody ain't Drake. Okay?
They're like, I don't think your metaphors are metaphors.
Okay, so you stayed in your lane.
I stayed in my lane.
And you're a singer.
And then, it wasn't Access Pack Forth, even more. I was working with like Trey Songz producers and Neo's producers, so I was really in the camp.
That's what's up.
But wasn't paying the bills. And a friend of mine was like, well, I know a dance studio that's looking for a hip hop teacher. And I was like, I guess I'll try it. 9 years down the road, I'm doing this, choreographing for Genuine, just touring and doing all the good stuff.
Is he okay? I thought he just fell off. Is he okay?
He's fine.
But you didn't choreograph that part.
No, he didn't.
Who told him to jump off the stage?
He didn't book us for the show.
Oh, okay.
So we would have been there to catch him. We weren't even told to be there, so that was all him.
Because I'm like, well, okay, but now you have a real, like, you've had a career, but you have a career in multiple things, but you're here with the Atlanta Dream.
Yeah.
Like, what made you want to become a part of the Dream? Like, what made you even want to?
So, sports, that's all new to me. But I'm around a bunch of people who do choreography and such, and they've been in the sports realm. And I've always been interested. I've always been like, this is just a different field that I think I could bring stage to the court.
Oh, I like that.
You know, what the Knicks dancers are doing is a whole nother level. And I'm like, they can't be the only state with 5 dancers. So, like,
let's go!
And we're Atlanta, so we gotta do something.
Thank you.
So if this was my chance to at least try, I'm going full force.
I love that.
Yeah, man, I'm ready for it.
And then what about you're also, having a famous dad.
Mm-hmm.
Not a lot of people have a famous dad that takes them on tour, but what is life growing like becoming your own person?
You would think it's that extra foot in the door that's like, I can just say my dad's so-and-so, and it doesn't work that way.
Nepotism don't work that way?
Yeah, it don't work that way. Sometimes, especially when I was doing music, it almost hurt me, because they were kind of like, my bad. They were kind of like, we know Heat Wave, so what you got? And so there's already a bar.
They're already measuring you.
Yeah, so sometimes they'd be like, okay, we know where you're coming from. Or sometimes it's like, nah, if you're a Heat Wave, you got to come correct. Both helped me grow, though. Like, I needed to be shut down some doors, and then I also needed that. No, you do have it. So both things in my journey, it led to where I am today, and I couldn't be even more happy about it.
I love that. All right, last question. We're almost time to. Okay, last question, because I'm like, I could talk to you forever because I love it. But what keeps you going and motivated? Like in a sport and entertainment business, there's some highs and there's a lot of lows, though. People get to see your highs. Like, you sitting here with me, and it's great because you're a choreographer for the Atlanta Dream. But what gets you through those lows?
The people that we're dancing and performing for. Like, I think in the industry, everyone has the like-minded goal. We're all getting to the top. We still need those other people. What does that mean? Like, we gotta affect other people. We're reaching out. I think the stage taught me, like, yeah, you can perform, but if the audience isn't captivated, you're just emotion on stage that they can just be like, okay, I can go on YouTube. Yeah, so eye contact is grabbing the audience. That's what keeps me going. The reason of why I started performing in the first place.
Love it.
So that helps me through the highs and lows. It's not just about my goals or my career or my milestones. It's the people who are watching me, that child's first nutcracker or whatever. If I'm on the stage, I got to make sure they want to come back and see another show. Not being like, that one dancer ruined it for me. I don't want to, like, no one wants to carry that.
Right.
So that's what keeps me going.
Well, keep going, man. I appreciate you joining the Dream and joining me here on Montgomery Co.
Always.
Coming up after the break, the crew and I are going to discuss 50 years of hip hop. We want to talk about all the evolution of it. We're going to get into it. So let's get it popping. Okay, so we got the crew here, and we got a full house. It's lit. All right, so our normal crew, Serena, Snook, and Cole. We got Roy on the ones and twos, is always hopping in here now with us. Juju Gotti, you on the phone with us? You calling in?
Yes, sir.
We in the building. Let's go. And then, you guys, all right, so we have a special guest because we have a new producer on our show. His name is Jeff Bezoy, and I love him. He's a creative. He's already pulled up to a Dream game to chop it up with us, and he's going to be here because today we are going to discuss hip hop just in general, but we're going to discuss just things that's changed over time, what's going on right now, how things are still. Snook hype. Everybody got hype when we started talking about hip hop. Don't stop, pop that. All right, I digress. But we're going to get into it because hip hop is like part of the culture. It goes hand in hand. So my first thing is like, how have y'all, well, actually, let me do a little stat for you guys that Jeff just so nicely provided me that every year, usually we have 10 albums that hit #1 in the billboards, just, give or take. This year, we didn't have the first #1 album hit the billboards #1 until July 10th, as reported by Billboard. So first I want to ask, Why do y'all think that is that every year we usually get around 10, but this year in 2023, there was only the first number one by Little Uzi Vert. It was his Pink Tape. And so, like, what do y'all think the reason for that is? Like, let me just toss it out there.
Yeah, number one, one of the first issues is Billboard finally allowed the re-release of the bundles, which is allowing artists to sell their merch as well as their album in one at one time. So you can buy a Little Uzi T-shirt and get the merch and get the album, or you can buy a Travis Scott album or some shoes and get the album. You feel me? And they count those as one actual sale. So I feel like that's one of the factors. Jeff, what you think, brother?
I need to stop doing that. That's how you know I'm new to the show. Roy even texted me. He's like, yo, stop that. You're on the show. I think the bundles definitely play into it. I think more importantly than just that, I think that rap music in of itself is so monumental. It's something that started in the Bronx and it's literally gone global. And so like every genre has literally taken from hip hop, right? If you go into Latin music, you look at reggaeton, you will hear a lot of rap influence into it. You hear EDM and techno stuff. They take from rap songs and they remix them and they turn into these incredible songs that they play in Ibiza for people to get lit. And so what I think is that a lot of folks have traditionally gone to hip hop for lyricism or for just like club bangers, what have you, now have different access of getting into rap and getting into hip hop without actually having to be listening to these songs. So I think that's something that's really important that's changed. I also think that streaming has changed, like the way that you listen to music. Like back when I was growing up, you know, I'm probably one of the youngest one on the show. I'm turning 30 next year. Like I would listen to the radio all the time.
Oh no, I got you. I'm
didn't even say
younger than
me,
you
man.
are, Jeff. You got
Man.
me here.
But you know, I was listening to the radio like most of us are listening to the
No,
radio.
you were
like, so.
not. We were creating our own CDs.
Nah.
on Hotwire.
So was I. I had Hotwire.
We were
I had
burning
share. I had mixtapes.
Hey, yeah, y'all ain't heard that boy say, "Well, they ain't get thrown."
to roll them R's. What you think, babe? I mean, y'all are in the music industry. We basically have the music industry talking to us. If y'all don't know, Juju's an artist. You can check out his music. He has music on Apple Music, everything. Baby, what you think?
I think, well, first of all, I always tell Renee this. I always use a term like music has changed into like fast food a little bit. It's almost like it fills you up for a little bit, but it doesn't really last that long. You know, I think that a lot of songs now, they might, you know, they might be cool for like maybe a month or two, but songs back then, they would stay with you. I remember just like listening to music in New York back, maybe even like the early 2000s when Murder Inc., Terror Squad, all those people in New York, you know, like those songs, I still listen to them today. Exactly. But I think that with the evolution of social media, TikTok, everything has to be like what's current, what's now, what's gonna, you know, resonate with the influencers and for content and this and that. And so it's always like a wave that people have to ride. But the thing with waves and fads is that they go away. They don't last. So if you're always trying to ride that wave, you know, like is not gonna be sustainable. But like artists like Jay-Z, people from like back in the day that have, you know, like Nas, they have a style that they stick with, and it's been proven to withstand the test of time, where we listen to them now, even their new songs, it kind of has like a little bit of that old school flow a little bit that we like. But I think it's social media.
No, that's interesting because we just to that point, Little Uzi Vert's Pink Tape. What's the name of his song, Jeff? But
I just want to rock.
I just want to rock. Y'all got to know that
Yeah,
dance.
like all
See everybody
TikTokers.
doing it.
Yeah. He knows them all, Donnie.
So I mean, to that exact point, the song that actually did hop up on number one had a song on there that went absolutely bonkers on social media. That TikTok, it still rocks like in arenas, gyms. People still, as soon as they hear it, they know. You got any thoughts on it, Snooker Booker? Because she said, when you say 50 years of hip hop, you was at the beginning, weren't you?
Oh, yeah. When we talk about our artists in a few minutes, I'll tell you about it. But at any rate, one of the things I think that I just want to talk about rap in general. You know, rap has gotten a bad rap because I guess of the vocabulary and the vernacular that we use. in the songs, the lyrics and all of that, where to me it's the same as country. Country songs tell a story, and you can't help but I like a lot of country because I like the stories, and rap tells a story too, but the story that rap tells is not one that's so nice and sweet, and I didn't just take my dad's red truck down the street and all of that. Some of the times people are offended by knowing actually what the rap song is telling you is going on in the street. But
no,
anyway.
that's a good point, Snook, because when you think about country music, a lot of people will say, oh, yeah, they're such great storytellers, and country music will tell the greatest story ever. I'm like, have you not heard Jay-Z's song Cry? I mean, he talked about two celebrities. I'm assuming he talking about Beyonce, but he said in We Ain't We, it's me and her, because what she prefers over me is work, and that's where we defer. I'm like, that man is crying on the song. He's telling a story. But Snook, to your point, their Bonnie and Clyde love may not be as cute as when Johnny's daddy was taking him fishing. So it's like
I gotta interrupt you 1 second. That's song. That's not Song Cry. That's
what is it?
Lost One.
Lost one. Thank you, Juju.
Okay.
I told you we got the real music crew in here, but y'all know what I'm talking about. So we lost one. Yeah, like all the other ones. Yes. Like, so I just think that Snook, that's a really good point. It's just maybe the story people are telling might not be.
And see, back in the day, people, I used to teach on a college campus, and I always knew all the songs. And they said, oh, well, why do you know the songs? I said, because I have kids. I have to listen to the songs so I know what my kids are into out in the streets and stuff, what's going on out there. So I've always listened
That's
to.
A fact, because Snook, where you wake up, I woke up
in my new Bugatti.
Yeah, baby, come on now. Cole, you got
old school lyrics ain't always been there though.
Yeah, or
Old
I
school
pulled up.
lyrics got a couple.
Yeah, I pulled up to the scene with my ceiling missing. So
Hey yo, I love it.
We just need to have Snook just reading these lyrics. That's
right. I feel like that's a whole segment in itself. Cole, thoughts on hip hop.
Well, I think that I think like everyone else is saying, I think that the internet has changed it. Before we waited for songs and albums to be dropped, to be released. Like life did not move until the new album came out. Once it did came out, it sold out basically. So we only had a couple of different avenues in which to get the music. So everyone held tight to every single album that came out, whether they were good or bad. Because I think sometimes the music that we thought was so good, it was just because that's all we had access to. And so we didn't, we had some good ones, we had some bad ones, but because we were waiting for the next greatest thing, you listen to every album to see if it was the next greatest thing. Whereas now, kids are making their own music. Like there are 12-year-olds in their backyard making their own music. They're making their own lyrics, they're making their own sounds, and they're doing their own dances.
Lil Z.
So it's so watered down to the point where why do we have to give all of our thought, time, and process to just this one album that just came out? When I know my sons, they'll hear somebody, they go, oh, he's big. I'm like, he's big where? But the thing is that there's so many different ways to hear music that just because I haven't heard them on the radio or just because I haven't heard about them, doesn't mean that they're not huge on the internet or they're not.
No, that's a good point because Junior, we were just looking up Spotify listens. Like my son is a big fan of JID. And so we were just looking up Spotify listens and he thought like JID, he thought that he was like an underground artist until he saw that he got like 20 million hours per month of Spotify listeners. And then you start to realize like, oh no, these people are doing numbers. And it's like, you may not know them because I feel this way quite often where I'm calling a game or for OTE or I'm doing, and then everybody starts going crazy when somebody's walking in the arena and I might even be on air and they're like, oh yeah, the crowd. And I'm looking around at like, I'm trying to see the person. I'm like, who is that they're going crazy over? I'm like, you don't know who that is.
Right.
He's
right.
the best basketball influencer in the world. I'm like,
AJ Green. Yes, I had that same experience.
So I think it's the same with music in a sense of like, there was an artist, dang, I wish I remembered her name, but she said like even her people were telling her like you need to make songs that are easily digestible for social media. You have to create a dance. Baby Tate had to redo her dance because they said her dance was too hard the first time and that might not help the album sell, the song sell. And it's like, wow.
And another part, another piece or layer to that is, it used to be that if people disagree with albums, they had diss tapes. They had underground diss tapes.
Talk
and
about it.
That's
so
real
you had
hip-hop
to
culture.
So you had to find out like, oh, they have a diss tape. Then you had to find out who had a diss tape because it wasn't played on on the radio. It wasn't played. It wasn't like a tape. So there was like these underground mixtapes that were actually out there too. And then you heard the disses. Now people stitch a diss. They can go on TikTok and stitch a diss to a song in real time. So it's like you can't even, you know what I'm saying? Like where all the focus was on this one diss tape, you got, again, 12-year-olds who were doing a diss stitch to a song that's on TikTok.
Back to back. Man,
yes, you know what I'm saying?
It's
like back in the day, we had people like kids who rapped and they would have a song and they would answer the song but it was a tape. Now you have kids who are answering songs on the internet and millions of people can see it. It could go viral. It could be great. So I think it's just watered down our music so much that we don't have to
short
focus.
attention span and all of that. But this doesn't answer the question of, and I want to know from you guys, why don't people dance no more then? Like, I'm just curious. I don't know if y'all saw, but there was a club and they said that this is only for this particular club, but instead of like dancing, they have bottle wars where they literally take the most expensive bottles that you can find and they buy them and they have wars where they pour it out in front of each other and like, hey, I got more money than you type of. That's what was happening in the actual club.
That was created by the club.
Dumbest thing
created by the club. That was created by the club. They said, let's have a bottle battle and let's show how much money. Who's winning by that?
The club is winning. The club is winning.
Liquor hitting the floor
and
playing with house money.
And you know what? That's why we have such a broke down society today.
Drink the liquor. Drink it.
Talk about it, Mama Snook. Talk about it.
It used to be that you don't waste it.
You're just sitting around. You're doing nothing. You go to work. You sit down. You do nothing. You come home. You're lazy. You sit down. You do nothing. Then you go out. At least when you used to go out to the bar, you at least get up and get a good sweat on or something. Now you go into the bar. You're just sitting there too. That's why everybody's in such bad.
Shots fired at Roy.
We losing recipes.
Hey, I'm in shape. All right. I used to have a 6-pack. That's 1 pack. It's a half pack, actually.
Yeah, but they're not dancing. They're not dancing because, first of all, I hate to say this, but a lot of the creativity is just if you can bounce it. If it could bounce, that's the creativity. Where there's nothing wrong with the bounce, but at least we had some other moves to go with it. That was like the shock factor when you could bounce. You could actually do the dances, but now the creators aren't even dancing. Like Salt and Pepper had a dance. You know, there was a whole bunch of people who had their own dances with their music, so you knew when that song came on, everybody was doing that dance. But now, it's not even that. It's just like
I mean, go ahead.
They're not even doing 2-steps no more. I think that is the most basic principle, universal Black dance. It don't matter if you African, African American, Afro Latino. It don't matter what beat is underneath it. If it's a hard drum, a soft drum, or a snare, you can always hit a 2-step. And we're not even 2-stepping in the club no more.
What are they doing? 1-step? What are they doing?
I blame it on the arts. We don't have arts in schools. Kids don't learn how to move to music. They don't know how to groove to music. They don't feel the music. And since now these days, everything is like a club techno. You can't catch that beat. If you can't catch that beat,
you can't catch a beat.
Dance. You can't dance because it's so fast.
Listen, I feel like it's a different world. What were you going to say, babe?
Oh no! I mean, I actually forgot what I was going to say.
That's great. That's excellent. Same old 2-step.
Same old 2-step. I was going to say the thing about dancing and being at the clubs that I think has like my thoughts on why people don't dance as much anymore. Because I remember, and I'm just going to say it, Snook, in our heathen days when we was dancing and sweating, to your point, and we was twerking that monkey, and it was a lot of body contact. And it was a lot of sweat and it was a lot of closeness. People don't even like to be close no more ever since the pandemic. I'm not even being for real, but think about an environment where
that's a lie, Renee. These people are in here squeezing past each other to pack in these clubs to pour out liquor. They're fine.
I just feel like a lot more.
No. That is
a lot of humans. And there's this germ factor.
People I think that stopped Renee from going to the
club.
That's
what stopped you.
Oh, okay.
If you go, listen, I mean,
no more in the club.
But if you even think about it, think about the concerts. Beyonce is selling out.
I was
People are
just gonna say
okay
that,
with
yep.
being back to back,
Social
side to
distance
side.
at the club. I went to
Listen.
Beyonce's concert and we was in Club Renaissance. I know the area y'all are talking about because otherwise it would be stadium seating. We were down in Club Renaissance.
You are not the
Jeff, you hear
everyday
it?
people. You are not.
Renaissance.
You are not everyday people. You're not everyday
Excuse
people.
me.
Everyday people
And we had
basically.
social distancing. There was space for me and Serena.
Let me tell you something. You go to a club in Baltimore on a holiday weekend. You were in with us even when we were down in New Orleans. These people were rubbed up against each other to get through a crowd. They didn't care who had what time of day. Everybody was hot and sweating. So people don't care about that. No, that theory is busted.
Nah, I think the theory is for real. I think that younger millennials ruined the whole game. I feel that in my generation, that was a little bit older than us, and definitely the younger was. We got this like poser culture. It's just like, yo, I'm gonna go to the club and be seen. Oh, they see me? I bet I'm clean. I got the latest Nike, I got the latest Jordans. We lost recipes as it came to like, I go to the club, I'm gonna have a good time, I'm gonna listen to the flyest music, it's gonna be amazing. Now everyone just wants to snap some photos, be in VIP. That's what the culture emerged into.
Yes.
It emerged into, I need to be in VIP, I need to be seen so other folks can know that I'm on. And this is men and lady alike.
Well, back in the 70s.
And it's ironic too.
It's
ironic because people are making this content to dance online. It's like they literally making dance content, and then when you go to the clubs, people don't dance.
They're not dancing.
I don't get it. It's like they only make this.
All they do is that
they only make the dances to fit in a vertical 16:9 screen, and that's it.
Or they dance for 5 seconds.
You can't go outside those dimensions.
They dance for 5 seconds, and
or
then everybody,
I ain't gonna do it. Do it for the. I ain't gonna do it.
Or they dance in every other place other than the club. They dancing at the food court. They dancing at school. They dance out in the middle of the street. They dancing at the mall.
They dance while they get arrested.
They dancing everywhere.
Dang, Roy, for real?
Seriously.
You ain't seen no videos of these girls over here twerking while they're getting arrested?
Oh, yeah. I did see that. That was lit.
They're doing that in downtown Minneapolis, too. They're twerking on police
That's my point. They don't want to dance in the club. You just want to dance everywhere else that you shouldn't be dancing. You shouldn't be in the Waffle House dancing. You shouldn't be dancing on tables because the thing is that if you want to go, and these are the same people that are in the club, don't let them get twisted. They act like they're not in the club. They made that video of them dancing in the Waffle House because they knew it was going to go viral. But then when they go to places that you should be dancing,
syrup on them.
Until it starts a fight breaks out. Until the fight breaks out. But then you go to places like the club, and then you don't want to dance. It's just that I think that's the culture. The culture is shock value.
I think I have a theory.
The culture is lazy. That's the culture. It's lazy.
What's your theory, babe?
I think so. So Jeff kind of triggered me when he said that everybody wants to be in VIP. I'm one of those people that I don't like to go to the club if I'm not in VIP. But the only reason for that is because there's nowhere to sit. Before, I remember
Really?
when we used to, I couldn't wait to grow up to go to the club so I could dance, right? And then when we used to go to the teen clubs, there used to be tables and seats for people to sit on. And then when I finally got old enough to go to the clubs, everything that it was like they took the tables away, the seats away. Nobody could sit. You had to pay for the tables. So then I think that my theory is that since they took away the tables and then people's feet hurt when they dance, so then maybe they just got to stand there and not dance too much if they don't got nowhere to sit.
But people in VIP don't even be dancing. They don't even dance in VIP.
No, they're pouring out the bottles.
The lamest people in the club be in VIP. Just
but they be dancing in their section though. They be dancing in their section. But I'm saying, but then you only have
y'all ain't never been to the club with a group of girls. It's a twerk fest in there. It's the best because like for me, it's just I'm gonna just be real. It's like I'm a girl. I just happen to like girls, and if I'm in a club where all of us are girls, usually they all just twerk with each other. And if I'm there, hey, but I'm just saying, like to that point, Snook, when y'all was older, y'all's feet didn't hurt because I know at the Freaknik, y'all was the nastiest things walking.
Yeah, our feet hurt. That's why we took our shoes off and put them on the table and we danced barefoot until we got ready to
That's
go.
right.
But there are no more tables. They took away the tables.
Well, the reason why I took tables, let's be real.
They used to dance on the tables.
No, tables were getting in the way. That was the first problem. Tables were getting in the way. You couldn't get that many people in there. So with tables in the way, so you get rid of the tables. You put them in the VIPs. People pay more money for the VIP. You got more people in the middle of the club where you could have people, and then you don't have people dancing on tables falling off and club getting shut down. So
Yeah,
it was.
see,
I
it's
think-
all about
I think
capitalism.
That sounds logical.
Roy said, and Roy, what is it all about?
Capitalism.
That's
I'm
it.
dead.
That's it.
So
That's
now
all.
I want to do
Nice.
one thing before we end this whole thing. I want to go around the horn and ask everybody that's commented on this, when is the last time you've been in a club? I just think on it for a second. Just think on it. Has it been less than 5 years, more than 5 years? I mean, because I'm just gonna throw this out there. We talk about the club, and let's
I'm getting
start
ready to go right
I'm
now.
loving that Cole's face. She really thinking like the club.
the club. So Snooker
What's
Booker,
wrong
let's
with
start. Let's start with you, Snook. When's the last time you've been to the club?
Oh, it's been almost a year.
Okay.
A year. That's it.
Club.
What club you was at last year?
The Empty Glass.
That's a real club. Wait a minute.
Yeah, it'd be an empty glass if I was there.
She's like, where was mom at the
I'm
club?
confused, but okay. This might be interesting if Snook has been the most recent.
Oh my
Cole,
gosh.
Cole, do you remember the last
Can y'all
time?
come back to me, please?
I'll come back to Cole. Baby, when the last time you was up in the club?
2019, before the pandemic.
I told y'all my theory. All right, but I'll leave it there. Jeff, when's the last time you've been in the club?
Last time I was in a proper club, no rooftop, no nothing, was July. I was in Brooklyn, and they had this like Afro club. It was a fire.
Wait, what do you mean no rooftop? No,
Right. I'm like, no
Well,
rooftop.
the thing is, like, it depends. Like, are we saying a club is like a closed space, no windows, no nothing? Are we including rooftops?
I'm including. I mean, I never knew a club that was on the rooftop. That sounds like a party, but that's.
I mean, it is more of a party, but it has kind of like a clubbish vibe, right?
Okay.
So
I mean, you was outside.
Parties.
Basically,
I be outside. I'm outside
too,
often. I'm outside often. That's
Like,
why I
listen,
haven't.
honey.
Respect.
Going back.
You know,
Okay,
but
well,
my
it's-
proper
well-
club was definitely July. That was the last time I was inside, no windows, no nothing. Incredible experience out in Brooklyn.
Okay, well,
Nice.
since
Afrobeat,
Jeff
she
said
said.
that, then we have to back it up because Serena, you were on the boat ride and you were on the
Yeah.
top deck.
Okay,
jamming.
no,
I was
no,
just
no,
gonna
no,
say
no,
we've
no,
been partying since then. Well, I just haven't been to a
I gotta
club.
come in too. I gotta come in one little quick. I'm sorry to come in like this, but number one, people don't dance no more because they scary. They punk. They sissified.
Facts.
They
Talk
look
about
at
it.
their phone all day and don't know how to act around.
They
real folks,
lazy.
human beings. Number
Mhm.
two,
They just
Bring guns
I
in the
dance
club,
in
yeah.
the club. No matter what, if you ever see me in the club, I promise to God, I'm never steal. I dance in the face of gangsters. You feel me? After our queen, the Queen Serena, I understand your word is bond. But in July, me and you went to the club.
I
and you
was
know
just
for a
gonna
fact,
say,
you see, I ain't
yes.
say steal. I'm the only person dancing in that night.
No, yes,
Mm.
I can attest to that. Me and Juju, we had a lot of fun at that party. I mean, but we went to parties, but I'm talking about clubs. But yeah, that was we
So
were
y'all was
Bluebird
outside.
was drunk. That's a club.
So they
No,
was
we
out. So
had-
people
that
was out.
that was so much fun. Me and,
And
Juju,
people
we
were
danced the whole
dancing?
time. Yeah,
Oh.
people were dancing.
Yeah.
I dance
Okay.
in the face of gangsters is the title of this episode.
I
Yo.
dance in the face of gangsters. Roy,
That's
when's the
hard.
last time you danced in the face of a gangster?
It was it was about probably 4 years ago
His
at the
face.
Fountain Blue.
Ooh,
Ironically,
Fountain Blue, Miami.
Ooh.
yes, at the Fountain. Ironically, for a church event.
Okay,
Oh,
wait
wow.
a minute. Not y'all twerking for
Oh,
Jesus.
what was he
Come
shouting?
on.
Yeah, there were a lot of shouting for Jesus. Yeah.
For
Even Claire was there. Claire was there as well.
No.
Yeah,
Roy,
yeah, she
doesn't
was.
count.
I know
That
you
doesn't
don't think
count.
that
It
counts.
does count. That's a club, isn't it?
No.
That's a club, isn't it?
What gangster was in there? I know. Was there a Judas in the house or something? What gangster was
Nah,
in there?
Judas was in
The
a lot of
devil
them.
was in there.
No, the devil was in there. No. That gangster was
Oh,
going to
my.
prison. He's in
Man,
prison right
listen,
now.
we
Literally
out
called
of
hell.
here, y'all. We apparently, I ain't know half the crew is outside.
Oh well, let me say I'm not outside. Let me tell you, I have not
That's
been. This
4
is
years
so
ago.
sad. Let me tell you, I have graduated from clubs to in Baltimore. It's lounges, so it's a
Oh,
lot
yeah,
of
yeah, that's
lounges.
facts.
It's not necessarily that my people are in clubs. As a matter of fact, if we find out it's a club and we pull up, we're like, oh no,
This
we
ain't for us.
turn around and this is not for us because we have different goals in life, and not one of them ends up in jail that night. So, so I don't think that I've been to a club. I mean, if we're going to count it, that rooftop on the boat on the
I
water.
was
is
gonna
probably
say, yeah,
the
we
last
partied
time
that day. That was
that we
fun.
party. I partied in a
Yeah,
club
we
like
was turned
setting
up.
because I don't have
I'm gonna tell
patience
you
nor
what, we
time.
almost
I
sunk
was
the
like,
boat.
West Virginia people know how to party.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. We was at the HBCU homecoming. So obvious reasons why it was turned up. But yeah, we was on the boat. They was party walking, and they had to get on the mic like, you guys, y'all do realize that we are on water. Calm down, because y'all don't. If y'all don't know, the cues was like, it was just a whole scene.
They was
it
on
was
a lot of
drown,
stomping
yeah.
going on, a lot of stomping
on a boat,
rocking
but
the boat.
So I guess
That's
the crew is
crazy.
outside. Basically, the crew is outside. We're celebrating 50 years of hip hop. Like I said, if you are in Atlanta, New York, y'all, like, that is the beginnings of hip hop and all of those things. So it's exciting times. Stream some hip hop. Push them to #1 when them bundles come by them. All right, we'll see y'all next time. Don't stop, pop that don't. All right, I'm just kidding. Listen, I'm telling you right now, the reason people don't dance, you start playing a little bit of them things that they was playing at Freaknik, okay? That music that they was playing, them songs where we didn't even know what we was singing, but we was singing some Wally stuff, like, ooh, chee wally wally, ooh, chee bang bang. I was singing it. I know every word right now to this day, all right? I don't really go to the clubs anymore. People don't really dance no more. All they do is this. But I'll just say, I think that people should dance more. Sorry, guys. I like music a lot, so this was fun for me. But I do think that people should dance more, have more fun, let go a little bit more. Roy said he just want to be at the bar with a drink. Don't be that guy at the bar with a drink. Have fun. Having fun is a generational thing. And drinks too. All right, I'll see y'all.
I didn't get to do a rap. I was going to rap for you all.
Go ahead, Ma. Go ahead, throw the rap on there. Throw it in there right now.
Put in the end credit.
Recording.
So I can still remember some of it now. It was like, on the subway, I saw I do digging on me. But you see, it was plain to see he was my enemy.
Oh, he was tripping.
Okay.
He was
This is different
geeking.
language.
Yeah.